just about a third of the way into the season, and we are now getting our first silly season news.
Lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the...
YouTube, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about some interesting news that was reported by Adam Stern on Twitter. That's where I get most of my news from, and I'll go ahead and read the tweet for you guys. But first, make sure you like, hit the subscribe button, and let's get right into the video. A field trip here to Twitter here. Adam Stern made this tweet about 6 hours ago, maybe. This is coming out a day before, so it was yesterday for you guys. But Suarez Racing is shaping up to have a busy summer, as multiple drivers have contracts that end after 2019, including Clint Bowyer and Daniel Suarez. Also, Smithfield Foods deal is also up for renewal, though it is unclear whether Aric Almirola is timed concurrently. I don't know if like Aric Almirola is, okay. So basically what that means is Adam Stern does not know whether Aric Almirola's contract ends when Smithfield ends. I don't know. I would think that might be the case, but let's go ahead and get into all of this. Now, starting with Clint Bowyer. Clint Bowyer, he has pretty decent sponsorship. He is aging though, and he hasn't had the best season so far. Last year it was really a roller coaster of a ride, which has really been his entire career, if we're going to be honest. He's been a NASCAR journeyman, but he hasn't been the best this season, but neither is SHR really. Aric Almirola and who's the other? Daniel Suarez have not performed as good as we saw the cars perform last year. I mean, Kevin Harvick, he's been pretty normal, but he still hasn't won a race yet, so that too. But Clint Bowyer, he's definitely. I feel like he has a couple good years left in him. But if SHR were to move on to, let's say, Cole Custer or Chase Briscoe, or probably not Chase Briscoe. I don't think he's ready yet. Or Ross Chastain, you never know. He's really open for any ride this year. I would not blame them for moving up one of those two guys. As for Clint Bowyer, not sure how legitimate the chance of him leaving is or how his staying is. If I was SHR, I don't know what I would do. I would look at all my options. If he does, and there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. If we don't know, maybe there's sponsorship that might be pulling out. In that case, yeah, you probably do want to get rid of Clint Bowyer. But if he still has sponsorship, then I would probably keep him for at least one more year and see if he's able to improve over this season. He hasn't done that well, but I don't know. That's just me. But that's all up to Tony Stewart. Next up is Daniel Suarez, and I don't think I knew that his was just a 1 year off deal. And I feel like since he has not performed that well, that he is out. I think he might be done at SHR. I don't see any reason why they would want to bring him back. He went to Joe Gibbs, raced there for 2 years, did not do that much, and he's come here, has not done that much. He's had plenty of opportunities, in my opinion, and I hate to bash him because he's a nice guy, but I feel like he needs maybe he just needs a slap in the face, and then he'll come back. But I think SHR needs to let him go, get somebody in the 41 car. Like I said earlier, Cole Custer, maybe Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell. He's in pretty much every silly season, every cup ride that's open, his name is going to be in there. As for the 41 car, like I said, any of those drivers mentioned, I think of all the drivers at SHR to be jettisoned into free agency, I think Daniel Suarez is the most likely of them all, but just because he has not performed up to par. And as for where Daniel Suarez would go, I don't know. And also for Clint Bowyer, I'm not sure where he would go either. Clint Bowyer would probably retire, and Daniel Suarez would very likely he'd have to find a new job. I don't know where at, but somewhere. And yeah. So now on to Aric Almirola. Aric Almirola, like Adam Stern said, he's not sure whether that his contract is up at the same time as Smithfield's, which is at the end of the season. But I would think if you're Tony Stewart, that would probably be a good idea. So we're going to go ahead for the purpose of this video and assume that his contract is up at the end of the season. If not, I would only see it going 1 year longer. Aric Almirola, he has not been bad. He's really been about the same as Clint Bowyer. The only difference is he has more years. He just has more years in his career. I don't know if he's really more talented than Clint Bowyer, but he has more room to grow than Clint Bowyer. He has obviously that Smithfield sponsorship. I think if Smithfield signs back with Aric Almirola, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't stay there. And the only reason is you don't really see him be sponsored by that many companies outside of Smithfield. And I'm not sure there would be a company that would step up and take the entire season like Smithfield does. So if he doesn't get that Smithfield sponsorship back, I can't say it like I kind of like, but I would say he'd actually be very likely to be out of the ride because he just doesn't have any sponsorship. But obviously, if he has a contract for another year, he'll obviously stay there for another year. But that's all dependent upon that. There's kind of a lot of what ifs in that situation. But yeah, as for that, I would say if he doesn't have the Smithfield sponsorship, look for him to be jettisoned into free agency. I don't know where I got that word from, jettisoned, but it sounds kind of cool, so we'll keep it in there. Apology, I had left that fan on. I don't know if you can see it. I had left that on. If there's like a little air noise in the background, I apologize for that. I did not realize that was on. You just kind of get used to the noise and you don't really realize it's on. But if that's in there, I apologize. But back to the video now. For drivers that I could see, filling in these rides, I think a lot of it depends upon how many rides are open. But Cole Custer is the first one that really comes to mind. Like I think I said that earlier, but he's been in their Xfinity programs for years, and now he's a championship contender, and I don't think he really has much left, especially if he just keeps on winning races, if he keeps on and if he wins a championship for sure. I don't see any reason why he needs to stay in the Xfinity Series any longer. He's pretty talented. I don't know. He might take a year or two to adjust to the Cup Series. I feel like that's kind of what he did in the Xfinity Series, and it might take him a couple years. But I think once he gets acclimated with the Cup Series, I think he could definitely be a talented driver. Another one is Ross Chastain. He's in pretty much every silly season Cup ride that opens, and I feel like this is a little, this is obviously less likely just because he's kind of got that Chip Ganassi connection. But Ross Chastain is a driver. I feel like if you go anywhere, he hasn't had a lot of opportunities. Pretty much every ride he has been in has been low budget teams. He's got a Truck Series win this year with a low budget team. He was a playoff contender with a low budget team last season, the Xfinity Series. Then he got the 42 ride and damn near beat Kevin Harvick at Darlington, and I forget what the track was, but he got a win obviously. And he knew this was his only chance, and he went off. And I feel like if he gets the same sort of chance in the Cup Series, well, he'll go off. But Chase Briscoe, he's another one, but I don't feel like he's ready. I feel like he's still getting that Xfinity experience, and after that maybe he'll be ready for a ride. But he's another one in the SHR program. But one that's pretty much, again, like I said, of Ross Chastain in every silly season Cup Series ride opening is Christopher Bell. He's deadlocked in the Xfinity Series. He went crazy last season, should have won a championship, but didn't. And this year it looks like he's actually, him and Cole Custer and obviously Tyler Reddick have all three just been equally fast, and it's been a great show to watch. And it's really, and I'm going to talk about them later, actually, so I'm not going to get into that. But on this video, I'm going to make a video about them later, so quick heads up for that. But, they have all, but last year, Christopher Bell was obviously really fast. He's been really fast. He's been really talented. He's been very successful in every level that he's been in, and I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be in the Cup in a good ride. So that's definitely a good option there. But I don't see there's no real indication that he would want to leave Toyota, except for he says he's ready for the Cup Series. So maybe, just maybe, he decides to leave the Toyota camp, gets tired of waiting, because it looks like that 20 car is not going to open up. But that is, anybody who gets Christopher Bell is going to be a happy team. But that's obviously assuming that all these rides are open. There could be, Stuart Haas could decide to keep them all, but that is all to be found out in the future. And that's the glory of silly season, is pointing out all the different possibilities. And I know a lot of those people, all of those people actually are pretty much young drivers. I'm not really sure all the veterans that are available. I think Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, but I don't think Kurt Busch would obviously go back to SHR, nor Ryan Newman, because was that with SHR? No, yeah, that was with SHR. You know that he had a situation there, so I don't think either of those that are going to be available will even think about going to SHR, even if they get the offer. So I don't think there's really this season. It's kind of more of a young driver type season. There's a lot of young drivers that are looking to come up into the Cup Series. That I mean, there's not really that many rides open, so it's going to be an interesting, silly season. But yeah, I'm not really sure who else there would be. So make sure to comment down below any people that I missed and forgot to mention, and I will make sure maybe make another silly season video down the line. Recapping your guys' additions, you know, Tyler Reddick maybe. I feel like he's going to get that 31 ride next year, and I can't really think of anybody else. So yeah, make sure to comment down below anybody that I missed. Make sure to like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.